The fuck are you doing?
Just chilling.
That you're on one of those like money podcasts. Yeah, this is what you got to be doing. If your circle's not talking about The Lion King, The Lion King 2, The Lion King 1.5, get new circle.
Nothing makes me like more embarrassed to do a podcast than when I see videos like that. Funny thing about like the money like clips and like grinds.
First you get the money, first you get the power, then you get the pizza.
Like that, like the whole grind
set.
Yeah, grind set content. They're always like, "This is how I got rich," and they give you the most vague things and never tell you how they actually got rich.
No, they'll tell you once you subscribe to their program for $29.99 every 2 months, every 2 weeks.
And forget to mention the massive amounts of luck involved or assets from either parents or that they had originally.
You don't believe in rags to riches?
I mean,
you're telling me that you can't be Allen Iverson?
Me personally, no, I can't. I can't play basketball, so there's that. But every time I see one of those, I just get completely embarrassed because now everyone has a microphone and everyone's opinion is terrible, except for ours, of course.
No, yeah, well, even podcasts that deal with the stuff we deal with, they can get like that. You know, they're movie podcasts where they just seems like they hate movies, right? Because that sells. Hate sells. But it's the same type of the same vibes, you know, like when a movie wins, like a movie that's thought-provoking is being celebrated by mainstream audiences and they just lose their minds. I just don't get how people don't see the clear attempts that these TikToks or whatever are like specifically catered, and it's so obvious, but people just don't care, and nothing's authentic. It's annoying, but you know. That's the world. Yeah, at least we have John Wick, right? Yeah, I mean, that's like the one thing I think keeping everything together is John Wick in this franchise. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back for another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast, where we talk about movies, TV, video games, all the biggest stories in Hollywood. Of course, you can listen to this podcast right here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on social media at Nerd Soup, at Bo Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey on most platforms. You know, I was looking at your Instagrams because I tagged you guys on our latest post, and it pisses me off that I don't have a solid Instagram following. It's just you two. You? Yeah, because back in the day, your personal accounts, we used to promote them. Follow me on Instagram, you know, Teddy Nerd Soup Monkey, but I didn't have an Instagram account at that time. Yeah. So I just look like a normal dweeb. I don't have a good Instagram, do I? Hey, you got like almost 3,000 followers, don't you? Not quite. They should get me there. Well, go follow Aaron and follow me if you want to hear about my politics and see what movies I'm watching, because that's all I kind of do on Instagram. You don't post on Instagram. I don't really post either. No, I do the story stuff, but once again, it's mostly ranting about politics. So if you're center right, I would probably steer clear. If you're center left, then maybe steer clear. Maybe steer clear too. Yeah. No, my last post was Halloween. I don't really do stories too much. I don't get them. I don't know if something's cool, but like. I think that actually speaks to, you know, you're not so narcissistic that you need to document everything you're doing all day, like I do. Yeah, no, you're definitely a narcissist. Some people, like, I get, like, if you're on vacation or you're at a ball game or you're doing something fun, you want to share the experience, but some people just post, like, Tuesday. It's a big day. It's the day before Wednesday. Wednesday, I understand. Hump day. What day does the club go up? What? Doesn't the club go up on a Tuesday? He had the club going up on a Tuesday. Well, maybe I do too. Yeah, if you got the club going up on a Tuesday, sure. Let's hear all about it. Oh, also, I want to plug the audience survey that can be found in our description. We actually had a lot of people submit, so I don't even know if we have any left over. I think we had. Everyone said it was broken. Up to 1,000. Yeah, it was broken for a time because I didn't realize you needed to pay for more responses. The free plan only gives you 10. That doesn't really do much, you know, small sample size. So I think we subscribe for up to 1,000, but we got some good responses, man. People do not like U.S. weekend box office. Really? Yeah, it was funny to see that, because one of the questions is, you know, if you could take out one aspect of the pod, what would it be? Or what's your least favorite aspect of the podcast? U.S. weekend box office. Most of the answers were either nothing or U.S. weekend box office. So I found that interesting. Seems like something that could potentially down the road be its own thing, because I feel like there is a market for that where people do care about those numbers. That could be a fun, like, Monday morning box office tracking. It's something Dan Merle does, so. Just copy him? Sure. I mean, that's the business.
Yeah, we should just take the
That's what they
best
do in Hollywood.
aspects from every other podcast and steal that and put them together.
A super pod?
Super pod.
You want to put together a super pod? Holy shit. You
Yeah.
don't think we can win the chip on our own?
It's hard.
Running from the grind,
LeBron
man.
can't do it. What hope do we have?
We're about to shut you down for the season. That's Teddy. Teddy's on load management. That's how we'll chalk it up. He can't do back-to-back pods. I don't think he's done a back-to-back in years. Is there anything else we need to plug? Survey?
Plug me.
What?
Oh, we already plugged my Instagram,
Okay.
but like Twitter and stuff too.
Right, yeah. No, we said on all social medias.
I need to get to a certain amount of following so I can show my parents that I'm not a failure.
That's why I wanted the play button.
We never got that.
I think they stopped doing that, honestly.
No.
Or they just don't care. I could see that. I could see them looking over like, do we really need to send Nerd Soup a fucking play
All right,
button?
but like 100,000 is the threshold for the play button.
Yeah,
right?
you would think, right? Isn't there one for 500 or it just goes to 100? I
No,
mean, 1 million.
I think they got like levels, but like it's not like we barely scraped over 100. It's like we're well established over 100. Give us the button. How does that work? Do I get it like
Give
on
us the
week?
fucking button.
Do I get it on weekends?
All right, let's get to the first story here. We're talking John Wick,
I guess
Chapter
I'll,
4. Yeah, you're not
Notify
gonna
my lawyer.
You're not gonna win that custody battle. Good luck. You better get Laura Dern in that suit jacket. Ooh, that was still gives me chills thinking about it. When she took off the jacket, when shit got serious. R.I.P. Ray Liotta.
Yeah, that was a good battle. It was a good
was,
movie.
yeah, it was a good movie. I included it for the promo clip that we just put on Instagram. I was like, oh, I should rewatch this.
I was trying to, speaking of Scarlett Johansson, even though we didn't mention her, I was trying to put together a bit involving her, but I don't know how to fully do it. You know the TikTok lady?
No.
The robot?
Is she a lady or a robot? She's
The
a
robot voice from the TikTok.
Oh.
It's like 5
When
places.
you're at the grocery
Yeah.
store and you accidentally trip on a banana peel.
I want to get her. I want to get that voice, but edit it into her. So Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with the TikTok robot lady.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
You could probably do that with AI technology.
Mm.
I don't know why I struggle to say AI. It doesn't flow off the tongue.
I don't know if it just works better as a tweet or if I actually make the video. But then
I'd say go for the video. Our TikTok is dry.
Well, maybe this is the comeback.
What was I going to say? Man, AI technology fucking sucks. I don't know if I'd allow you to use that. I wouldn't sanction that.
It's not AI technology. I put the prompt into TikTok so the lady speaks it from her and I just voice it over Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
Simple stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's funny Joaquin Phoenix fall in love with the TikTok robot lady. I don't know.
It's funny because I asked you for a caption for the post that we just did on Instagram.
Yeah.
And all you told me was to do exactly what I was already planning to do and didn't give me a good caption. Like I needed a funny one-liner. I feel like that's right up your alley. And you're like, I don't know, call it Succession Soup or something.
I'm an idea man.
But we both already established the idea.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, just post, the clip that we mentioned from the video and,
clip.
and caption it, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I asked you for a caption. All right, let's get into the main topic for today's episode. That is going to be John Wick Chapter 4. So if you haven't seen this, I would say skip ahead because we are going to get into some spoilers a little later in the review. So right now we'll keep it spoiler-free. We'll just talk about overall reactions, and then there are going to be some big things that happen in this movie that we need to discuss because some implications for the future of the franchise. But John Wick Chapter 4, this is a movie that sort of snuck up on me. I knew it was coming out this year, but I didn't realize it was coming out this soon. In my mind, I thought it was May. So when I saw that it was on the coming soon on the Regal app, I was so excited. One of my most anticipated movies of the year. This franchise, since the beginning, has just met my expectations and exceeded them with each installment. It just keeps getting better. And it's the one franchise where I have in my mind exactly what I want, and they just give it to me. In the trailer, you see Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada. You're like, oh, they're going to kick so much fucking ass. And that's exactly what they did. And I think Donnie Yen may be the best character in the entire franchise, not even the best supporting character. There's already talks about giving him a spinoff. But top to bottom, the cinematography, the action set pieces, the commitment to ramping up the ridiculousness of the franchise, but managing to instill even more heart and characterization in such a simple yet profound way. To me, it's a masterpiece. It's going to be my best movie of the year. I can't see anything topping this. If it came out last year, it would have been number one. Although that would have been close with Nope. But I just can't say enough good things about this movie. It's almost hard for me to put into words how much I love it. I've already seen it twice. Came out of that theater absolutely buzzing. And Aaron, you didn't like it, right?
No, I liked it a lot.
Okay, that's good. I was about to nunchaku you.
What?
That's the actual name.
Nunchuck?
Nunchucks. It's nunchaku.
Oh, wow.
That man was going off with the nunchucks, bro. Woo! I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's like, I think that's what this, like, you could say that scene, like, just is why the movie is so great, because, like, in your head, you'd be like, wouldn't it be cool if John Wick got some nunchucks and beat the shit out of people? And then in the movie, he gets nunchucks and just beats the shit out of fucking people.
Oh, man, what a fucking movie.
We were talking about it on the Fan Question pod, just like how well put together of an action movie it is, and like how like we know it's already going to get like disrespected come award season, but you can't tell me that anybody or any film can shoot action as well as these movies do. And the cinematography involved in all of that, not just pretty shots, but the way it flows and how the action just kind of tells a story in its own right. Like, it really is just excellent on every level. I mean, you can obviously point criticisms maybe story-wise or some of the performances, but like at the end of the day, like as an action movie, it really is just a perfect, like they set out to make a great John Wick movie, and it excelled in every reason, like in every way possible. Like you said, these movies just somehow keep getting better and better, even though like you kind of know what you're going into at this point. It just continues to surprise you in ways that you don't really see coming. I mean, a couple of these sequences, especially towards the end of the movie, there's just this hour-long, I don't want to even say it's one sequence, it's multiple sequences put together, but it feels like just one long, extended scene, and not in a bad way, because it just keeps building and building and building, and always gives you something that keeps you invested or shocks you, like especially some of the camera work with the crane shot and made it to look like a one take, and that just building off of the previous car chase scene and that going into the final showdown. It's just nonstop, but it never gets exhausting, never gets tiring, and stays fresh somehow.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Lawson, who's worked with other filmmakers, probably his biggest movie is The Shape of Water. I don't know if he's won an Academy Award, but he was definitely nominated for The Shape of Water. The fact that the cinematography, it's definitely not underrated when it comes to this movie, but just the grunt work to do that camera work and make everything look fluid and look smooth while it also being so ambitious and explosive. There's so much happening on screen, but as you mentioned, none of it ever gets overwhelming. And this is a movie where, when we get the big discourse about certain shots in Marvel movies, this is a movie where you can point to and say, there's probably not an ugly frame in it.
No.
You can't take one shot of this movie and say, this wasn't thought out, this wasn't well crafted. It's brilliant, and that's where the substance comes from, where people say maybe it's a little light on the storytelling, because when I called it the best action movie of all time, somebody was like, well, there's not enough substance in it. Well, the substance is in the craft of filmmaking. That's what they're going for here. And I think the character stuff may have been the strongest since the first one in this movie because of Donnie Yen and his relationship with John Wick and the regret that's clouding them throughout this movie of them viciously trying to fight out of this cycle of violence, doing it together as friends, as foes, and that relationship ended up being beautiful in my perspective, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that like when it comes to, like, I feel like people oftentimes like miss the point of like what cinematography actually is. Of course, you have the beautiful shots, and this movie's filled with them. But like you said, just the ability to capture this action and the way it flows with the characters on screen is something that, you might not really pay attention to or even notice, but that's why it is so effective as it all plays out. Like, technically speaking, these movies, I would put this up against any other like movie last year as a whole, but also on a technical aspect, and I think that gets lost a lot, especially with action movies.
Yeah, I mean, you look at John Wick too. I mean, the stunt work speaks for itself, right? If any movie is going to change the Academy's mind on awarding stunt work, it's going to be this movie. And I think this could potentially open the floodgates, because at this point, how could you ignore it? I think we get so many movies every year that feature incredible stunt work where it would be a competitive category. It's not like there's not enough movies. So the cinematography, when it comes to every aspect of it, like you said, it's not just the beautiful still shots that you can grab from it, but it's the way that they play with lighting and the way that they build that atmosphere, where they put you right in it. One shot that sticks out to me is after the card scene, and then it shows John Wick walking through the waterfalls of that club that they built with this new big budget, right? What are we going to do with this new budget? Let's build a fucking nightclub with waterfalls. And it just... I get chills thinking about it because that atmosphere, the vibes of it all, you just feel it. You're just in it. And I think John Wick 2 and John Wick 3, which was my favorite of the franchise, you know, they should have been recognized for their cinematography because some of those action sequences are just as stunning as the ones in Chapter 4, especially the third act of Chapter 2. It's one of the most fluid action sequences I've ever seen. But Chapter 4, it just ups the antes because I don't even know where to start when it comes to my favorite sequence. There's just so many to pick from. And the way they built it up, where, you know, you have Hiroyuki Sanada, you have Donnie Yen, and that first action sequence where all of them got their time to shine. Even Akira, who many people want a spin-off for her, she was awesome, right? It's like they knew what they were working with. It was like an all-star game where this is going to be the Donnie Yen moment, and he stole the show. This is going to be the Hiroyuki moment, and he was awesome. This is going to be the Akira moment. She's climbing motherfuckers with knives and shit. And then John Wick, right? He almost gets lost in the shuffle, but then they gave him that sequence with the nunchucks, and it's like, yeah, this is why he's the fucking GOAT. And he's just beating the fucking piss out of people. He's switching hands. The choreography is unbelievable. It never gets old. And then Donnie Yen's character, going back to Kane, we've seen it before. The blind assassin, the reluctant killer, we've seen it before. But the way he works around the blindness, the different techniques that he was using, the little quirks, it brings just so much personality to these characters that we just met. Even the character, the tracker, right? He's got those eyes of a killer. He's so mysterious. It's just overwhelming me talking about it. From a technical level, man, it's unbeatable at this point.
Yeah, and like there's just many moments where like you're watching it, and from like me, I was just sitting back and laughing because I was just having just the best possible time watching this movie.
That's all really you can do at some points because it's just so stunning. You can't believe what they're pulling off. You just have to laugh to yourself. And as I said, they ramped up the ridiculousness. At this point, it is an anime where it's like those old martial arts B movies you would see coming out of Hong Kong where the characters are just superhumans, where they exist in a world that, you know, people live, people die, but when it comes to fighting, they're gods. And that's what I love so much. It's like the introduction with Donnie Yen. We're going to start low and raise up, and he just looks awesome in the cane and the suit. And I think the physicality of his performance, he just moves like water, where it's so effortless. You know, there's one shot where he beats the shit out of some guys and he like wipes his hands on his shirt like, get off of me, motherfucker. You know who I am? I'm Donnie Yen. But even a character, you know, like the way they build up the tracker, played by Shamir Anderson, so mysterious, so frightening. The idea of somebody just sticking around waiting for the bounty to go up. And a lot of people got a kick out of the fact that John Wick didn't know who he was. And I think the mystery of that character just added so much fear to the story and unpredictability as well. And he was awesome too, man. When he gets involved, right? He's shooting, he's protecting John Wick and everything with the dog. So cool.
I actually think it's a benefit that they don't like you said, probably more characterization than the other three, but I appreciate their effort not to try to overdo it or feel like they have to at times. At the end of the day, you can just let everything kind of speak for itself. And how many times do you watch like a fun action movie and it's like, well, they try to, you know, they have these moments where maybe it's exposition or they're trying to humanize a character or get deeper into what they're doing, and it kind of like, it's not up to the rest of the quality of the movie and kind of changes it, shifts the tone a little bit and doesn't derail it at times, but like it's a slight little bump from everything else you've been enjoying. They just lean into what they do the best here, and that's I don't care about that. I don't consider that to be a negative, because in the framework of this movie and this world they created, you don't need any other fat. Like, you can trim it all off. Let the action tell its story, and if your main character can't string together more than 2 sentences at a time, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
it works.
Yeah. They were talking about the fact that they cut, I think, 70% of John Wick's dialogue. And he is a character where, what do we need to hear from John Wick? You want a monologue? We know what he's going through. He's trying to fucking get out of this life. It speaks for itself, as you said. And there are lines in this movie that really stuck with me, like when Hiroyuki Sanada's character, John Wick, apologizes. And he goes, friendship would be meaningless if it was only friendship when it's convenient. That's a line that stuck with me. And I think that speaks to some of the themes of the story where Donnie Yen, getting into a little bit of spoilers here, but he basically betrays his friends in order to try and protect his daughter. So he's caught in a tough place here where, do I side with my friend or do I have to save my daughter? So the history between those characters, you feel it, even though that they're new to the franchise. And to me, that's the substance right there. That's all the substance you need. It's been the same story since the first movie. It's essentially one giant movie told in 4 chapters. So I don't need, like you said, sometimes that can just rub the movie the wrong way, where we're an action movie, but we need to appeal to the pretentious film critics who only appreciate dramas or movies with quote-unquote substance. So we'll do a monologue that doesn't necessarily fit, and as you said, it can just rub the movie the wrong way and it takes you out of it. This movie doesn't do that whatsoever. You're going to meet us on our level. That's exactly where we're staying. And the commitment to action excellence in this film is staggering. It's breathtaking. It's monumental, I think, in the history of action cinema, where a movie like this and a movie like Fallout, they set the bar.
No, I mean, the last hour of this movie is, like, you might think I was joking, like, on my Letterboxd review, but I wasn't. I think it's the greatest thing the greatest hour I've ever watched on screen.
It's just thinking about it, man. I just want to go see it right now, dude. The whole sequence, like you said, with the car chase.
It refreshes itself. Yeah. There's something new, like, maybe, like, little spoilers going forward, but, like, there's always something in the middle. Like, you see these excellent techniques and new ways to film the action, and then it keeps going and going, and something else comes at him, and usually sometimes that could be like, all right, enough, we get the idea here. And then he shoots a flamethrower shotgun, and you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you see somebody try and shoot him with that, you know John Wick is going to get his hands on that and go to absolute work, and he does. But yeah, it's really told through... It's very much 1 act, 2 act. It's a 3-act movie. And, like I said, the setup for those characters was basically perfect. And then when John Wick, that's another fun thing that we talked about. The way that they play with the lore of the world. They
make shit up.
They're just making shit up as they go. And it's so cliche, the idea of challenging somebody to a duel. And you need your family crest because they sit at the table and you don't.
Makes I had no sense. I didn't care but I don't care. Because it was fucking cool.
And what's fun is that there's no winking, there's no nodding to the audience of how ridiculous this is. They're all taking it 100% seriously. And that's why the camp works so well in this film. Because, spoilers in the beginning, when Lance Reddick's character dies, R.I.P.
We'll just go full spoilers now.
Yeah, let's go full spoilers.
What is it?
I don't know. Skip ahead, skip to the next topic.
Yeah, but what do they call it? Why can't I think of it?
Time code?
Time codes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hit up the time codes. They're right on the screen now, so that's nice. But when Lance Reddick's character dies, which was unfortunate because podcast coming in, I was like, oh, I hope he gets a chance to really go off. But it worked for the story. It definitely adds some stakes to the world. But when he tells Winston, it's been an honor to serve you, that hits because they have been such a fun little pairing.
Yeah.
They've been buddies running this Continental and super loyal to each other, and their chemistry just really worked. And so you definitely felt that loss. But, some of the lines that Keanu, when they've got him tied up when he goes to visit his family. She's like, you can't win your freedom. And he's like, I can if I challenge him to a duel.
Yeah. It's like... I guess people might find that shit goofy, but I think
it's so goofy. But I like it for that reason.
But it's perfect for the movie.
Right.
Like, they constantly just add things to fit the narrative, and they don't care because this is when you see it all play out. Like, it's the perfect way to end this movie is that fucking duel.
And when they're flipping the cards, when he's like swords, John Wick is like pistols. And Keanu Reeves, man.
Well, the opening scene of the movie, when he comes to get him and he's like training, he's punching the whatever it was. And that first he lets off. I'm like, let's fucking go.
Let's go. We're right back in it, man. And he does operate in this place where his line deliveries are simultaneously terrible yet perfect. Like when Bill Skarsgård, who is perfect as the mustache twirling little freak.
Such a cartoon fucking villain.
Perfect, dude. And, there's some great scenes with him where he's not a fighter, but there are some moments that really stick with you. Like when he stabs Mr. Nobody's hand. Ooh, that got the whole theater squirming. But when he's talking about, oh, you'll never be anything more than just John Wick the killer. And John Wick turns around and he goes, and he's going to kill you. It's just perfect. It's everybody in the theater doesn't know whether or not to laugh or to think that it's cool. But for me, it's both. It's goofy, but it's so cool because it's Keanu Reeves. And I think that it's so funny. All these actors, they struggle throughout their whole careers to find the perfect roles. Where with Keanu Reeves, Hollywood has cracked the code twice, where he's perfect as Neo, and he's even better as John Wick. It just benefits him that he feels like such a regular guy, because that's what John Wick is. He's this man with extraordinary skills, but he's just a dude. And he just looks the role. He feels so much like a protagonist in your favorite anime, where he's got the looks, he's got the hair, he's got the body language. As I said, it's super fluid, but simultaneously it's also labored, where you could see the years, the strain on his body, but he's still the best. He's still moving 5 steps ahead of everybody else. So his performance, I don't know, he just exists in this place that... Getting too excited, they're bringing in the dogs. He just exists in this place that is perfect for him. And it's just so fun to watch him. And going back to, a lot of people had this reaction to the first John Wick trailer. It's like, damn, I feel bad for Keanu Reeves that he has to make shit like this. That first trailer was so goofy. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. The title, John Wick? God, it's so stupid. But now it's John Wick. That name holds so much weight. You call somebody John Wick, it's like, okay, they're getting down to business, suit and tie shit. He's just incredible, dude. He's one of my favorite, not a great actor, but one of the greatest movie stars we have today. One of the last movie stars, really. So yeah. But getting into, some of the supporting characters, Scott Adkins, who I wasn't really familiar with coming into this, his role as the fat German gangster, unbelievable, dude. I was so high when we got to that point, and I was like, what the fuck is going on in this scene? It's being shot so well, the overhead with the fan, there's so much tension, and at that point in the movie you truly don't know how it's going to go down. So there was still some surprises, but he was just such a cartoon character. Just absolutely ate up that scene, dude. He was unbelievable. When he starts shuffling the cards, and when Mr. Nobody says, I'm one bullet away from being a very rich man, and he goes, or a dead one. Perfect. And his excitement when John Wick is there is a Baba Yaga. So good.
Dude pulled 5 of a kind.
5 of a kind. So ridiculous, right? Mr. Nobody's got the royal flush. Oh, well done, sir. Thank you. It's so goofy. It's the Casino Royale poker game, right?
Yeah.
And of course, John Wick, Dead Man's Hand, right? It's so appropriate.
I mean, them going through the club was fucking insane.
Bro, every time that you think this guy's going to die, he just pulls out that inhaler for one...
What's in that?
For some extra juice.
Yeah.
But that's why I love this movie, because it's, once again, we're so obsessed with realism. Where everybody's like, oh, this is unrealistic. John Wick should have died 1,000,000 times. It's not. It's a movie. It's fake. It's fiction. These people don't exist. It's fun when you can play fast and loose with the rules.
When he takes his suit off and has all the bullets fall out of it.
That was so good, yeah. And then, Scott Adkins kept getting shot in the ass. He kept shooting him in the ass or hitting him in the ass. Dude just wouldn't die. But that fight was incredible, man.
And there's just so many great moments that just all lead into each other. When he's doing the donuts and just shooting, like, that car went around like 6 times.
It just kept going.
It just kept going.
Yeah, you just pop, pop, pop.
And then the staircase sequence, I think the funniest part of the movie. It is so slapstick too, but it works.
Yeah, no, it's 100% a Looney Tunes cartoon
when
at
he's
times.
falling down the stairs for like a good 30 seconds. I was fucking losing it.
And every time...
and you felt it too when he got to the bottom. It's like, damn, he's gonna go all the way back up again? What time is it? Dude,
at that point in the movie, I had to pee so bad. I was like, fuck, there's no way they're gonna knock this man down all of these stairs again. And he has to go back up. But I get such a kick out of the way he greets people that he knows. It's always the same way. John? Kane? But those two together, we got to see the 3 of them fight when they were at the club, and then John Wick and Kane going up the stairs together. People... The second time I saw it was with a bigger crowd. People were hyped, dude.
Yeah, it was like some Avengers shit.
Yeah, that's literally LeBron and Kobe in their primes saying, you know what, let's take these guys out together. It was so amazing. And as I said, people have been so impressed with Donnie Yen. You know, the fights were incredible, and he's been doing this throughout his whole career. He's probably the best movie martial artist of the 21st century, very much the successor to Bruce Lee, to Jackie Chan. And hopefully we can get Jackie in one of these down the road.
He needs to be.
Yeah, Chad Stahelski, God bless him, said that he wants Jet Li and Jackie in Chapter 5. If they do Chapter 5, because now it looks like it's a little up in the air.
In production,
It's technically, no, it's not. Based on what the box office for this is doing, I think we're going to get Chapter 5. I think it could be a scenario where, you know, we're in spoilers, John Wick dies at the end, where the movie starts focusing on Kane, maybe focusing on Akira, some of the other characters, and John Wick reemerges in the third act. I think that could be a fun way to do it.
What do you title it, John Wick?
You do title it John Wick, yeah.
I don't care.
No, I mean, who cares if he's dead or not, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, it's a great emotional send-off.
I mean, it's John Wick.
Yeah, who cares,
I hope
right?
I don't care if they treat this like James Bond, or like every few years there's just a new Wick. Someone takes the mantle of Wick.
Well, I think there is a lot of potential for, you know, they're planning the Ana de Armas ballerina spinoff.
He has to be American.
He has to be, yeah, he can't be in English. Yeah.
Americans can't be James Bond. British people can't be John Wick.
He could be Puerto Rican, though.
Yeah.
It's like somehow there's a
you
Scottish
want to be John
Bond.
Wick?
No, I'm not saying me. I'm saying maybe Anthony Ramos.
Okay.
I'm trying to give my man some work. Got to take care of mi gente. No, I think that there's so many different routes that they could go. It's the one franchise, though, that a lot of people are like, bring on the spinoffs. You know, let's see the Akira movie.
Ballerina's going to be fucking dope.
The only thing that makes me hesitate about Ballerina is the director. Len Wiseman, his track record is those Kate Beckinsale bullshit movies.
Oh, yeah, the vampire movies.
The vampire movies, which are terrible.
The first two aren't bad.
Underworld, right, yeah.
I think the first one was pretty good.
Right,
but
when you compare
it,
yeah, exactly, and you probably
but I ate it up.
goo-goo eyes for Kate Beckinsale. Who the hell is? You know, I love Kate Beckinsale and John Wick. That's all I keep thinking about is different actors.
I feel like it's got to be the same team, right?
How so? Just moving forward?
Can another group of filmmakers replicate what it is, this world?
Right, that's the thing. With Stahelski, you know, he's done just such a great job. And, you know, you even look at David Leitch, who co-directed the first one. Atomic Blonde has some great action sequences, but they're not as strong as the following John Wick movies. And you could say that operating in the John Wick playground, maybe David Leitch would be better at that. You know, if Stahelski comes out with his Ghost of Tsushima movie that needs to be a bit more dramatic, has more characterization, and it stinks, you could be like, oh, he's a one-hit wonder type of guy, you know?
Who's doing the Nazi John Wick?
I don't remember. Who's the lead actor in that? What was that called?
I don't know. But it was a sick-ass trailer.
I'm going to look up Nazi John Wick.
Probably got some weird websites.
No, they actually gave me right. So this is directed by a Finnish director named Jalmari Helander. And it is a Finnish movie, obviously based on that trailer, super inspired by John Wick. And it's called Sisu. And it's about a former soldier in Finland who kills Nazis. So, yeah, maybe if that movie comes out and it's good, that's what you get for some of the spin-offs.
Yeah. Maybe just the Sisu, is that the guy's name?
Maybe.
And he joins.
Little team up?
Yeah.
Well,
he'd
that's
have to freeze himself, but maybe like Captain America type situation.
That's why I kind of got upset that Atomic Blonde didn't take place in the same time as John Wick, because I would have loved to have seen Charlize Theron in the John Wick movies, a little crossover.
What do normal people do in this world?
Well, you saw it in France, right? They were just pissed off about the traffic jams.
Yeah.
They weren't reacting to anything. I mean, that's very French of them.
Do we just accept it? Like, is it just accepted?
I think so, yeah. At this point, 90% of the world knows about this underground, super secret society. You know, the police don't exist in this world, right?
Well, they have terrible response times.
No, well, I guess that's realistic, right? They just don't give a shit. In my own headcanon, I like to think that the high table truly runs the world. So it's just a phone call to the local police department, like, hey, we're going to fuck things up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, chalk this up to terrorism or something. Whatever you guys do. But that's why it's so fun to see a movie that's embracing the fact that it is a movie, that you can do anything when it's on camera. It doesn't have to be realistic. You could fall from a 10-story high building and not die. You could just get up and shake it off, you know, pop a couple of Advil and keep fighting. These characters, at times they do get tired, but they're superhumans, and to me that's fun. As I mentioned, it's similar to the old B movies that you used to see all the time, where you could play fast and loose with the rules of reality. They've created their own reality in this world, and to me it's perfect at this point. Just keep ramping it up. That's what's most impressive about it, is that it keeps getting more ridiculous, yet it's more satisfying to watch.
No, yeah, really, but it never like jumps the shark in that regard. Nothing's ever too ridiculous that it completely takes you out of it.
And even a scene like John and Kane sitting down at the church, great scene, where it's not overly written. I think those moments, they really do stick with you, and they do a good job of building that relationship and the regret that they both share and the longing for freedom that they both have. Donnie Yen, essentially, his character became a co-lead of the movie because at the end of it, he's right there with him. And I think there's a lot of tension. When they have that duel of who's going to win, right? Because you want John Wick to survive. He's fucking John Wick, but Kane's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was definitely, because I wasn't surprised, but going into that, you're like, which way are they going to go? Like, is this man's daughter just going to die? Like, how are they both going to get out of this in a way that works for both of them?
I thought it was clever.
Yeah.
That he didn't shoot the final shot, and Winston's like, you arrogant prick. He didn't shoot. Pops him right in the face. And as we said, Bill Skarsgård was the perfect mustache twirling little freak of a villain. Clancy Brown is his number 2. Awesome to see. What a fucking voice, right? The mediator who's trying to placate the situation. He's a pragmatist. So when everything gets resolved at the end, he's done with it.
He just goes home.
He just cleans his hands and says, yeah, everybody, you get your hotel, you have your freedom, your daughter's okay. His character was awesome. And you know what was great, man? There's so many things I want to mention. But the fact that they did the overhead view, where initially I thought of Metal Gear Solid, but a lot of people have been pointing out that it's very reminiscent of a game. I think it's called Hotline Hotel, where it's the same style, where enemies are coming from every direction. They're coming through the walls. That whole sequence was incredible. But then they cut away from it momentarily, and then they went right back into it. They were like, no, let's go back to the overhead a little bit. We've still got some incendiary bullets here.
No, that shit was dope, so we're gonna go back to that.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. You're thinking, okay, that was a fun sequence, but that's done. And they were like, no, we're going right back to it. And the way that they convinced Mr. Nobody to be on John Wick's side, brilliant. Where he has the opportunity to shoot him in the face, but he notices that the Spanish henchman is about to kill the dog, and he saves the dog, right? It ties it right into the first movie, where at the end of the day, it's about John Wick
and his dog.
Protecting his dog.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I love about these movies, is the diversity of the world. It's like every corner of the world, there's a character representing every corner of the world. And everybody can speak every language. That's another great part of it.
Yeah, I think this is the best, ensemble of the 4 movies, because everyone is just even the villains, you have something that you look forward to, or they have something that kind of makes them unique and intriguing when they're on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, for the villains, it feels like more of an uphill battle, right? They're so desperate to just finally kill this guy.
Yeah. Where
Skarsgård is going scorched earth, and Clancy Brown is saying, I think you're going a little bit too far. And
it's John Wick we're talking
It's fucking John Wick, so you gotta, they're literally decimating these hotels. Has anyone
counted his body count throughout these movies?
I'm sure somebody has, right? At this point, it's got to be over... It's got to be in the thousands or close to it, man. There was a funny text that went viral. It was somebody's text from their dad, and it was just John Wick's back, and he's killing a lot of people again. That's literally all the promo that you need.
We got some bow and arrows in this one, too.
Yeah, right.
That's what I love, too. Her bow and arrows are sticking through these people's armors. It's like in Last of Us. It always makes me laugh. You had to shoot a guy 3 times to kill him, right. But one bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Got him out of the way.
Yeah, the wide selection of weapons I definitely appreciated, because some of the criticisms that these movies get is that it's just John Wick doing headshots, but I loved watching that man throw bullets. You got the Kane with his sword, and Hiroyuki Sanada where he has his sword and his gun. Mm-hmm. That's fun too, that they use both weapons simultaneously. But it's so funny, dude. When Kane and John have that first fight, and he thinks that he may have killed him. It's like, you dead, John? Mm-hmm. His deliveries were so good. When Skarsgård tells him, remember your daughter, fuck off. So he was just excellent. As I said, he stole the movie for me, and stole the franchise. And I think you made a great point about the uniqueness that each character brings to the story. They all have these different qualities and quirks, the types of weapons that they use and the strategies that they use. And it's just it's so fun to watch it all play out. And, mention the bigger budget where they built the set, the club with the waterfalls, and you just hear the pounding, your heart's racing. It's a pulsing atmosphere. But using the different locations that they did, the globe-trotting aspect of the movies. So many blockbusters these days, they'll tell you that they're at a certain place, but it doesn't feel like that place. When the John Wick franchise visits Okinawa, it feels like you're in Japan. And when you go to Paris and you see all the famous landmarks and the different settings, you feel like you're in France. So they made great use of the bigger budget here, not only building sets, but visiting different locations and incorporating that into the film's narrative. I mean, I could talk about this movie for the rest of my life. So
Lawrence Fishburne in this too is just, I don't know what is like. It's hard to describe his character. He's just like there,
having the time of his
and
life.
He's always got something.
Yeah. And the contrast, I didn't even put it together that's Morpheus and Neo. It was the first time somebody pointed it out to me. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I guess they were.
When he's like, when he's giving him like the new gun at the end, it's like, I had no idea what he said. I'm like, yeah, sure.
yeah.
Let's fucking go.
I believe you.
Looks like a regular pistol to me, but
his delivery in John Wick 3 is always going to be the best delivery of the franchise. Somebody please get this man a gun. He's having the time of his life in his role. And even Winston, man, so charming, Ian McShane. I mean, he's one of the best actors of all time, but his little, when John Wick realizes that he's going to get his hotel back if John wins the duel, and the little shrug he does when he looks back at him. Oh, so good, dude. All the characters, and it's such a cartoon at this point, but that's why I love it.
No, the whole duel thing, like every aspect of that, like, was just made up on the spot, and it's so fucking funny.
High table duels.
It's like, how does John Wick get out of this? Like, what if you could do a duel? And it's like, but it's like, everyone else is like, that's myth.
That's a myth. Come on, those are just a tall tale.
I know there's a lot of crazy things in this world, but a duel? So, well, I guess it is real, but you gotta go get your family crest.
Gotta get the family crest, right? And they're not too happy to see you because you kind of betrayed them.
And even with Ian McShane, when he's like, brings the request to Skarsgård, and he's like, yeah, well, okay, you want to do old school? Well, the rules say if he dies, you die too. He's like, fuck. I guess that's a rule now.
I guess, that is a rule.
Yeah.
That's a rule that we both knew about.
Take your word for it.
We definitely both knew about that before this moment, 100%. So good. Oh, man. I am so excited to see where this franchise goes. And I think that John Wick Chapter 5 is going to happen, especially with the way the business works, because this movie has been killing it. Worldwide, it's already at $137 million. Domestically, it opened to... Damn, I don't have that number in front of me. $77 million. So, biggest opening of the franchise. And looks like it's going to maintain that momentum through the weeks ahead. I'm thinking we're back, baby. All right, guys, before we finish this episode, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Smile Brilliant. Hey, look, I'm a floating head. Bad breath can be an annoying problem to deal with, especially when in social settings like out on a date or recording a podcast with your buddies. Only 2% of the population has enough naturally occurring good bacteria to fight off bad breath and maintain a healthy mouth. What people don't realize is that when brushing your teeth or using mouthwash, you're killing both the good and bad bacteria in your mouth. Unfortunately, bad bacteria grows back much faster than good bacteria. So even if you use these products consistently, you may still find yourself with bad breath. But we have a solution. Smile Brilliant's Dental Probiotics, chewable tablets with concentrated amounts of the healthy bacteria your mouth needs, so that you can speak freely without worrying about any dirty looks from your friends or coworkers. Chewed once a day before bed and after brushing your teeth, these tablets populate your mouth with the good bacteria first, before the bad stuff has a chance to grow back. By repeating this process on a daily basis, studies have shown that you can truly increase the population of good bacteria, while subsequently reducing the population of bad bacteria. Studies have also shown that clinical-grade dental probiotics reduce plaque, cavities, gum inflammation, and of course, bad breath. So head on over to smilebrilliant.com and check out their dental probiotics. You can also browse their selection of other products like mouth guards, electric toothbrushes, whitening gel, whitening trays, water flosser, and more. Plus, you will receive 20% off your order when you use promo code NERDSOUP at checkout. So, don't wait. Head on over to their website, choose the products that are right for you, and take care of your teeth. And as I said, if it is truly the end for John Wick, it's the perfect way to end it, right? In the middle of the movie, I was thinking, man, I'm going to be so sad when he finally dies in John Wick 7 or 8.
Hopefully that ticket taker saw the movie. Because he blew it for him when we were walking out.
Oh, yeah, dude. I really did straight up spoil it for him. I did The Simpsons. Yeah, I can't believe Luke's his son. My bad.
Nah, I'm sure they get to see the movies early, right?
No, yeah, they've seen it.
And the other ticket taker was going into the movie with us.
Yeah, our boy that we always see at the theater. He was there opening night.
Have you talked to him before? Or, you guys seemed like you're friends?
I'm just a friendly guy. I'm just a good conversationalist.
I mean, I say what's up when I see him, when I go to the movies, but...
Well, sometimes he'll be like, oh, what are you seeing? And be like, oh, that's really good. I just saw it.
Do you think he knew who you were?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
He knew who I was.
Okay.
Because he looked at me, his eyes lit up. He's like, Bo Oliver? I was like, ticket taker? Come on, man. It's like the John Wick franchise.
I was kind of upset. I wanted him to be in our theater.
No, he was going big.
Yeah.
He went to see it in IMAX. We were like, no, we're doing standard, bro. I actually did go back to see it in IMAX. Just needed the sound. It was more for the sound.
Dolby would be fucking sweet.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But I feel like where is the Dolby Theater around us?
It's, I don't know. They have one in the other theater down the block. But we don't have that.
Right. Yeah, you have to pay full price for that. And the sound there always sucked. I don't know if their Dolby Theater is better.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
But their standard theater sounds kind of bad.
That's maybe something I'd check out, honestly. Just pay that full price, right? It's a shame they're not a Regal. But for, just going into the rest of the U.S. weekend box office, because people love this topic, Creed 3 came in at number 2 with 10 million. Shazam! Fury of the Gods came in at number 3 with 9 million. Scream 6 made 8 million over the weekend, and 65 made 3.2 million. Shazam's been the big story because of how poorly it's been doing. I do feel bad for Zachary Levi.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. At one point, I didn't.
I feel like I did, and now I didn't.
I feel bad for him because the fact that he's relegated to making Instagram videos begging people to see his movie instead of John Wick. It's like, yo, that's kind of desperate. You're not convincing anybody. If somebody wants to see John Wick, they're going to go fucking see John Wick.
No, he sold John Wick.
Yeah, no, he really did at that point. That was just extra promo for John Wick. Somebody watched that and was like, I didn't know if I wanted to see John Wick over the weekend.
If I want to go see this lame family movie or fucking John Wick snatching souls.
That's so funny, dude. I mean, we talked about on the last podcast, right? When we talked about the whole beef with The Rock. I'm surprised he hasn't responded yet. I still think he's going to respond.
Nah, I feel like at this point, I don't think he wants to get in the weeds. Especially, I don't know, if everything come out of Fast and Furious and now this, maybe he kind of wants to lay low for a while.
Yeah, I think that could be true. He is so good at beefing with people. So I kind of want, bro, what he did to Tyrese when they were beefing over Fast 5, imagine what he would do to poor Zachary Levi. Talk about a mismatch. He would just rip this man to shreds.
He used to give it to work to Stone Cold.
Right, but it's just there's so much material to work with there. I mean, Black Adam did kind of shit the bed at the box office, but yeah, I guess at that point,
I think it
only hurts yourself.
All The Rock has to say is they added muscles to your suit and they had to take out my muscles for my suit because it wouldn't fit right.
Yeah, that could be funny, actually.
Zachary Levi can be like, yeah, because you take a bunch of steroids.
Yeah, Joe Rogan really wanted The Rock to come out and admit that he takes steroids. Remember that? I'm surprised The Rock didn't respond to that either. He's been letting people take shots.
But
The Rock's vulnerable right now.
What do you respond to Joe Rogan? No.
No, you say, fuck you, you bald piece of shit.
But if he denies it, then he's lying. Publicly. If he just doesn't address it.
No, you come out and say, who are you to say what I should do with my business? Mind your own business, podcast boy.
I don't care. I want all my
Peapod.
I want all my superheroes juiced up.
Yeah, that is true. I want my baseball players juiced up again. God, late 90s baseball. Ooh. We're really missing something.
Steroid era was fucking electric.
Yeah, I think people overreacted. Mm-hmm. Bud Selig, actually.
Imagine if Judge was on steroids.
Oh, yeah.
How many home runs he would hit?
Well, he already is probably on steroids.
But like the
good stuff? He's on diet steroids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little, like he'll be out of his system, doesn't stick around. You got to be smart about it. I want full blown. I want the good stuff.
It's funny because
he was on that Bonds 03 shit.
Yeah. That's that shit LeBron's on. That's how he came back so fast from his injury. LeBron really has to be the funniest athlete of all time. Did you hear those comments?
Went to LeBron James with feet.
And everyone was saying, oh, you went to the second best doctor. He said the doctor said his foot healed faster than anybody's foot ever. Man, he said that's something Donald Trump would say.
It really is. It really is.
LeDonald.
All
right, let's move on here to a story that got film Twitter up in arms. A lot of people angry. Apparently, Robert Downey Jr. will be producing a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's best movie, in my opinion, Vertigo. And whenever you remake a classic, you're going to piss off a lot of people.
I thought he was doing the U2 song. I have a much different opinion about this now.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. is a singer, so maybe he'll cover that song for the movie.
It's just getting worse and worse.
But okay, so Hollywood announces they're going to remake something. People respond angrily. The movie gets remade.
Mm-hmm.
What pisses me off is the people who get more upset at the people responding angrily than the actual remake. Why take the approach of, well, if remakes have happened before, why get upset about it now? That's like, somebody kills somebody and it's like, well, people have been murdered before. Why get upset about it now? Because it's still stupid. That's why we're going to get upset about it. I just wanted to say my piece on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it bothers me as much as it does most people because, like you said, it's going to happen and it's par for the course. And, hey, sometimes remakes actually work out and they do a great job of, telling a story for a different audience or maybe putting their own little spin on it. But yeah, there always seems to be certain movies that are considered untouchable from certain filmmakers. But I think we talked about it on the Fan Question podcast, Psycho was how many sequels and remakes are made of that, but no one remembers them and no one cares because we still have that original movie and it's iconic.
Yeah, no, you're making some good points here.
So
the point that nobody cares about the remakes really does stick with me. Because that's the Vertigo has been remade before and nobody ever fucking talks about the remakes.
There you go.
But you know what people talk about? The movies that influence Vertigo. So there was one tweet, Film Twitter wouldn't be so upset if the news was David Lynch was remaking Vertigo. David Lynch did remake Vertigo. It's called Mulholland Drive. It's called Lost Highway. It's called Twin Peaks. What David Lynch did is he took a movie that's influenced him and he made his own version of it. That's the best way to respond to a movie you love. So when people say, oh, people be it's like they make these points without understanding what they're even talking about. Where, you just know the name David Lynch and you think, oh, people like him because his movies are weird. His favorite director is literally Alfred Hitchcock. So it's like, whoa, David Lynch, if he did this, he would never do that. But he already has. With Robert Downey Jr., he's such a fantastic actor. And as I said, Vertigo is Hitchcock's best movie in my opinion, and Jimmy Stewart's performance in there is legendary, his best performance. It's offering so much for an actor to show off his abilities and his talents. It's a role made for somebody like Robert Downey Jr. I just wish it was something else inspired by Vertigo, where he would have the chance to play that character. Because as I said, it's a psychological thriller. Jimmy Stewart is put through the ringer in that film. And it would be a treat to watch Robert Downey Jr. go through the same thing. So, but let's see what they end up doing with this remake. All right, last story here. We have Ari Aster and Joaquin Phoenix. Apparently, they're teaming up for a Western movie. Nothing's official. I don't even think Joaquin Phoenix is signed on. This is straight from the mouth of Ari Aster, saying that he wants his next movie to be a Western starring Joaquin Phoenix. So in his mind, they're teaming up. Nothing is official, but coming off of their movie, Beau is Afraid, that is going to release in April, it seems like they've built a really nice rapport between them, that their working relationship really took off, that they have the same sort of dedication and obsession with filmmaking. So maybe this can be an interesting duo moving forward. I know Ari Aster is your boy.
Yeah, I mean, he's made, I don't know, 2 of the best horror movies in the past 5 years.
Yeah, same thing with Eggers and same thing with Peele.
Yeah, not really the top 6, it's just their movies.
Why is Teddy texting us almost at Rite Aid?
I have no fucking idea. Is he coming here?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe it's one to text his wife. It's gonna be I don't know. What was I saying? What are we talking about? Teddy just
Ari Aster.
fucking taking this off the rails.
Joaquin.
That's cool though. I mean, going into something else like the Western genre, I think it's kind of cool to see. I mean, we always talk about with some directors that, have their style or tend to stick in one genre. That it's like, do you want them to venture out into other things, or do you want them to do what they're best at or what they want to do? So it's kind of cool to see him or have an idea to kind of venture into the Western genre, and bringing Joaquin Phoenix along with him only leads me to believe that, like you said, they had a good working relationship, and that, Beau is Afraid could be something really special.
Yeah, it could be really fun for my brand. Keep Beau on the mind.
Yeah, but everyone thinks you're a little scaredy cat.
That would be accurate. Scared of everything, except dying. Death is the last immersive experience I've yet to have.
Damn.
It's a line from White Lotus. I just actually finished White Lotus, so everybody's been bugging me to watch it. Great show. Jennifer Coolidge. I think that you'll understand why the world is just so obsessed with her. And I know that you don't particularly dislike her. You just dislike the obsession.
Yeah.
But it's warranted because she's so fucking funny, dude. Incredible character. All right, let's move on to some fan questions. We've got some good ones.
Joaquin Phoenix has been on a tear lately, huh?
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People, you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
Oh, this question here from Shadow_Fox. Do you think Stahelski will be given the freedom to direct Ghost of Tsushima as he sees fit? Or will Sony take that video game adaptation and Uncharted it? I don't think you can look at what HBO did of Last of Us and how close they adapted it story-wise and think that it's smart to deviate like other video game adaptations do. One of the stupidest things ever, Assassin's Creed maybe has some flaws as a story, but you had literally a really good plot, really good script right there for you to take and adapt. And they're like, no, let's just do something different. But we'll keep the cool little kill thing going. Yeah, that was such a dumb decision because that's the stuff where if I was adapting something, you're going to focus on. That's the good stuff. Why not focus on the fucking good stuff?
Right.
I think Tsushima, pretty straightforward. It's a Mongol invasion on Japan, and it's about a samurai who's trying to fight off the Mongols. And it's Genghis Khan's grandson, and he's a big, hulking monster of a man. He's a great villain, fun protagonist, cool supporting characters. I think with Stahelski's visionary genius, it fits perfectly in this world. So I don't think that if they do deviate, it would be tough to deviate because, as I said, the story is pretty straightforward. It's a epic period piece. I think that they're gonna see the success of the John Wick franchise and what he's been able to do, and they're gonna let him do his thing. Because the visuals of the John Wick franchise, as I said, they lend themselves to a movie like this, where you play that Ghost of Tsushima game, and it's one of the prettiest games ever created. So I think it's just ripe for an adaptation to the big screen. Give him that 125 million, and let's see what this man can do with it. I guarantee he'll give us something spectacular. I think he's built up so much credibility now in the industry where he's going to be a name on everybody's mind. When it comes to who do you want to do the next Batman or who do you want to do the next this? It's like, Stahelski, right? Yeah. Why not?
Let him do a Marvel.
No, not that. Don't let him do a Marvel. What's great about him too, man, just to go back to John Wick 4, is he's such a film nerd. There's so many references to different types of movies, to animes, to classics. So God knows what he's doing.
Like you said, a cool way to not necessarily remake, but pay homage to things you like. Obviously, The Warriors. It's an alternate world where just things work differently and there's a different structure socially where these things happen. And it's kind of accepted.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, as I mentioned, Ghost of Tsushima. It's epic, it's huge, but there is more of a seriousness when it comes to the character stuff. So I'm curious to see if Stahelski can handle that. But I think it's going to be good. This question here from Kang, the Kang queso, con queso. What's your favorite kind of dog? Not breeds, but more generic. Hyper, chill, big, small. Everybody thinks I love small dogs because I've only ever had small dogs, but I really do love all dogs.
I hate annoying dogs.
Yeah.
As long as dogs aren't like dogs that bark at everything or just like constantly yapping, which I guess is usually smaller dogs. But a lot of smaller dogs are awesome.
Yeah.
Your dog I like.
Yeah, she's a good small dog. And the dog I had before her was a great small dog. I always used to call her a cat. But yeah, for the most part, I kind of like all dogs. You know, it depends. You know, sometimes you get used to the personality of your dog. If you have a hyperactive dog, you know how to counter that. You know things to do to calm them down and ways to have fun with that.
Yeah.
If you have a chill dog, it's always nice to just have them hanging around and stuff like that.
Well, I hate people who don't recognize that their dog is not behaved.
Yeah, or their children.
Like they accept the fact that they just jump and maul people. Like, oh, she's just saying hi. It's like, well, okay, cool, that's cool and all, but like now I have hair all over me and I'm scratched up.
Yeah, I try to be aware of that where I'll say, hey, get down. And then if the person says it's fine, then I'm like, okay, you asked for it. But you always have to, you have to do the get down, gauge what the other person is thinking. So this question here from Josie DeMarco, which fictional movie or TV restaurants would you want to eat at? I would want to eat at the menu like 6 months before everything went down.
Before he decided to kill everybody. Yeah,
I would not want to. Well, maybe. Could have been a fun way to go out. A little s'more.
Was it Mulligan's in Parks and Rec?
Mulligan's right. That's
the best steak Ron ever had.
Or the diner. Leslie used to love. Leslie had that diner fucking cater her wedding.
But I feel like I can get like a good diner breakfast, and that's fucking Indiana. Every New York diner is probably better than JJ's.
That's what it's called? I couldn't remember.
But like Ron Swanson, to say it's the best steak he's ever had, that holds a ton of weight.
What about the 1950s diner in Attack of the Clones? I bet they're cooking up some good buttermilk pancakes.
Nothing in Star Wars has ever looked good or appetizing.
Krusty Krab.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Nice little Krabby patty with jelly.
The milkshake from Pulp Fiction.
I was going to say the Pulp Fiction spot. Yeah, that's fun. The Bada Bing.
I'm sure they have delicious food.
I'm sure their buffet is
Any
fantastic.
Anime. Really
the ramen spot in Naruto.
They just make a really good, like, every food just looks so fucking good. Or like cartoon pizza. Fairly Odd Parents pizza.
Oh, yeah. That
so
cheese was cheesy.
Yeah.
Gooey.
How was your hamburger from Courage the Cowardly Dog? This is an episode where you all used to wants is a juicy cheeseburger from the spot. And the way he describes it and the way he's like hankering for it.
I want the dessert that they had in Inglourious Bastards. That always looked fantastic.
The strudel?
Yeah, the strudel. The delivery of wait for the cream is the best line delivery in that movie. I wanted to quote tweet the tweet that's been going around. What's a delivery that always sticks with you? The way he tells her to wait for the cream. That motherfucker's too smooth to be a villain. And what else was I thinking of?
There's this guy on YouTube who cooks all like famous dishes from TV and movies.
That's fun.
Yeah.
The breakfast that Hal cooks in Hal's Moving Castle the bacon was thick, juicy slabs.
I don't know why, but ham always looks better animated than it is in real life.
I'll give you that, even though I love ham, but it does look better in animation. Some foods really just be looking better, dude.
Yeah.
This question here from Tyler. How would you rank the holy trinity of TV show intro themes? Game of Thrones, Succession, and Westworld. I'm putting Game of Thrones number one. Succession may be a better theme, but the Game of Thrones theme to me it's like the Rugrats theme. It just puts me in the mode, It's going to be one of those where it's so iconic.
Yeah. I'm not going to Succession number 2.
I think it's better than Westworld, yeah. The White Lotus Season 2 theme is definitely up there. It gives both of those a run for its money. But Game of Thrones, like I said, it's not even the quality of the song. I don't listen to the Game of Thrones theme. I'll listen to the Succession theme in my free time. But it's just the theme music of Game of Thrones, man. It's just, like I said, it's iconic. Everyone knows that shit. This question here from Sierra. Do you get your popcorn butter layered or just on top or no butter at all?
No butter.
Yeah, I do no butter, man. It's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too buttery.
And there's already butter on the popcorn.
There's already butter there. How much butter do you need? Some people are crazy.
Teddy loves butter.
Yeah. That motherfucker goes, he makes them do it halfway, then he puts in 2 bags of salt, then he goes another half and slathers it with butter. There's no way that kid's seeing 47.
He still has to shake it up a million times during the movie.
He is such a diva. He's just such a princess.
Did you respond about the Rite Aid yet?
Oh, wrong person. Yeah. Fucking dork. This question here from Hand of the Queen.
So someone replied to his story at work.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like,
Oh, you sent that to us, right?
yeah, someone messaged him like, damn, Bo and Aaron chilling at home while real men go to work. Not taking into account that he's the one filming everyone else working.
I know, yeah, he's not even doing
actually
shit.
Working.
Laziest man there. Don't get it twisted, Homero. Shout out Homero.
People are probably like, oh, is he the foreman? No.
He's the mayor. He's the mayor of New York City. This question here from Hand of the Queen. Would you rather watch a really good movie or a really good season of TV? I mean, really good movie every single time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more... It is so true when people are like, oh, you'll sit there and watch 4 episodes of a show, but no one sit through a 3-hour movie. But something the way like TV is paced and the cliffhanger nature of it, that like while you're watching it, maybe you don't intend to, but like the last 5 minutes something happens and you're like, fuck, I gotta see what happens here. That's what's so frustrating about weekly releases sometimes, especially like with the anime, because they're shorter episodes. Like the latest Vinland Saga, they just set up something that's so fucking cool that I wish was already out so I can just binge through it right now, but it's not.
How many episodes is that up to?
13? 12 or 13?
Oh, damn. I got some catching up to do.
But a good movie is just... There's something special about it, something different. I think TV could be more fun, and the fact that like you can go through 5 episodes and not even... Like the other day I watched like 5 episodes of Succession, just watching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a show that I could put on season 1 and just blast through it, man. It's just so fun to watch. It is my comfort show.
It's like I didn't even... Like it was like 1 in the morning before I knew it. I was like, well, I watched 5 episodes. 5 hours I just spent here watching.
There is something special about that feeling of watching a show for the first time and getting so swept up in it where you can't think about anything else but watching it, binge watching it when you're done with your work for the day or whatever you're doing. That's how I always get with animes. You know, when I really first got into Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, it's so easy just to knock out a season like it's nothing.
It's just so fun. It's the pacing, you know. You trick yourself into thinking that because the episodes are short, like, oh, I could watch 10. You know,
remember like season 2 of Attack on Titan. I was like that, where I just didn't want it. Like I couldn't stop.
Yeah, that was a fun one too to binge. When you get to certain points in season 3, it's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Because like, yeah, if all of Vinland Saga was out right now, like I would have blew by that season last night.
I need to get on that. This question here from the Dude Meister. What's the best interrogation room scene in a movie or series? Love from South Africa. Shout out to the Dude Meister and shout out South Africa. Probably my favorite country in Africa.
I've never been to Africa.
It's on the bucket list. I hear, no, South Africa is the place to go, man. I remember when Jamie and Pete visited, their stories made me so jealous. I had to unfollow them. You know what's always my favorite interrogation scene? Casino Royale, when Mads Mikkelsen is just beating the crap out of James Bond's nuts. Yeah, you guys are missing out on the Nutcracker, man.
What
he was whipping his nuts, and James Bond was like, that tickles.
Does Christoph Waltz, Glorious Bastards, is that an interrogation?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, the first scene, right?
I'm thinking more like in the jail. It's like, guy's giving us nothing. Does he ask to see a lawyer yet? No. All right, let me get a crack at him.
This is just a scene you're making up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what I think of an interrogation scene.
Right, yeah. Let me take a shot at him. One that I hate is The Dark Knight, because the Joker is just doing pirouettes around Batman. You're garbage who kills for money. God, Batman, say something smart. But Mads Mikkelsen beating on Daniel Craig's nuts will always be number 1.
Yeah, I think it's Hans Landa.
That's fair. This question here from Jordan C.A. Heath. Your single best piece of relationship advice?
Get him out of there. What are you doing? Everything he just said is now we can't use in court anymore.
It's not about what he said. It's about what he didn't say. Because I killed him.
It's so I like when the person who's getting interrogated gets cocky. But I hate when the cop gets too cocky too. And it's like, oh, we know everything that you did. We're gonna find you. We're gonna do this to you. You're done. It's like, well, yeah, it's because they're gonna write it out for you. You're not doing anything. I don't know.
Do you have any other scenes to mention?
This is just a
There's
compilation
a lot of cliches
of
for
every,
the interrogation scene.
of every cop show I've ever watched.
You know what's a good interrogation scene? Decision to Leave. The first time that he sits down with his wife because of the romantic tension that they had between them, where it goes from interrogation to date. That's a fun movie.
That's such a funny part when he gets... Well, it's actually a shitty part because his wife is like...
Perfect.
Already the best. And doesn't she want sushi? And he's like, no. And then he gets her sushi.
He gets her the fancy box.
Like, that's so fucked up.
No, but once again, another movie that's heavily influenced by Vertigo, where it's this unexplainable obsession, infatuation you have with this mysterious woman while completely ignoring the perfect woman who's already in your life. So,
he kind of plays that in Rear Window, too.
Yes, he does. Oh, yeah. It's the worst example of it in Rear Window.
She's literally like a Actually, no, like, the ballet dancer across the street is fucking...
You're crazy for ranking her over Grace Kelly. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying, like...
Grace Kelly in her prime?
No, I'm not saying, but, like, I can see why.
It sounds like you're saying.
I can see why. Yeah, that man was just making up shit that didn't make sense. It's like, oh, well, we're two different worlds, you know, I gotta travel for work.
Yeah, come on, man. He was crazy. Old-ass motherfucker.
Yeah, dude's literally in a fucking wheelchair. It's like, ah!
From Jordan, best piece of relationship advice. We'll end it there.
I don't know.
I would say don't look for relationship advice. I think we overanalyze relationships and love and who's the perfect person and blah, blah, blah. I think that, you know, the old saying, there's somebody out there for everyone. I think there's a lot of somebodies out there for everyone. Just don't rush it. Find someone you like being with and understand that they're human, they're flawed, you're flawed. You have to find someone who can come to that understanding that accepts you for everything that you are. Also, like, I don't know. I feel like people tend to, like... withhold things, maybe if something that, like, even if it's minor, and that like makes it compound into like something bigger if you don't address it, you know, because no one wants to be like whiny or feel like they're being needy or everything. But I think sometimes it helps to actually find someone you can communicate with. Oh yeah, definitely. That's always the best way to go. Right, find someone you can be comfortable being the most honest, because nobody's ever fully honest with anybody else. There's always going to be an aspect of somebody's personality that you don't know about, but you know, find someone you can tear down those walls with, and so it's like the best way to do it. Like an example would be like, you know, I don't like, they do something small that's like doesn't really bother you, but maybe don't, and if you just don't say anything about it, every fucking time it happens, they're just gonna keep fucking building and building, and then out of nowhere one day you're gonna be like, stop chewing. Damn, man, you're already an old man, huh? You're already worried about people's... It's like Stewie and his girlfriend when they get old, and she yawns, and he gives her the dirtiest look. No, that's happened to me. Apparently I was chewing too loud. All right, one last question here from Matt_Samson. Best supporting character in the John Wick series. It's Donnie Yen as Kane. The whole series? Yes. Number 2 is Halle Berry. Because she was awesome in John Wick 3. Are we considering like people who've been there since episode like throughout the whole thing, or just, sure. Okay. Yeah, Winston, Lance Reddick. Can never remember his character's name. Willem Dafoe was in John Wick 1. Remember? So was Theon. Marcus. Yeah, Theon. Theon got the whole shit jumping. I do enjoy Lawrence Fishburne's character. His dynamic with John Wick is so fucking fun. And he's kind of like a wild, like you just never, like, you know, he's like on the side, obviously, but like he kind of has this. No, it doesn't. It never feels like he's on John Wick's side, but he is. Yeah, he's just like his only resource. It's like so interesting. Like he's just homeless, but like why? Well, he's homeless, but he isn't. Yeah, New York, he runs the city. I know, but like, long live the king, baby. That actually made me laugh out loud. Like a few words for a tombstone to summarize a life. How could you do that? Long live the king. That motherfucker was ready. All right, guys, that does it for our podcast for today. Thank you so much for listening, for subscribing, for liking. Make sure you do all that stuff, and we will be back next week. We've got some fun videos coming up. We've got our Last of Us differences between the show and game part 2, and other stuff. So just hit that notifications button and be ready. Hell yeah. Wow, that was probably our best review yet. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey here with a brief shameless plug before we end the video. Do
Do you ever feel like you don't have an adequate amount of nerd soup in your life? Like you're going to bed hungry and yearning for the nonsensical yet entertaining nutrients our podcasts provide? Well, we've come up with the perfect solution. The Nerd Soup Fan Question Podcasts, exclusively available to our Patreon supporters. You can sign up now by visiting patreon.com/nerdsoup, and for the price of only $1 per month, you'll receive exclusive access to our weekly podcast where we answer your questions that don't make it to the main show. And while you're there, you can check out the other rewards we offer to our patrons, like stickers, mugs, t-shirts, behind-the-scenes footage, and appearing in the credits at the end of our videos. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Roll the names of the nerds who make Nerd Soup possible. The reason why the crypto crash didn't send our lives spiraling down a black hole of no return. Alright, I'll stop talking so you can listen to this jazzy-ass music while checking if Bo spelt your name wrong in the credits.